Welcome back to Barbecue and Bottles, and today we're gonna be smoking up turkey breast. This is leading up to the holiday season here, and we wanted to prepare these using two different methods and wanted to see which one we like better. So if you're into that kind of thing, stick around. So the first step, we just have to make the brine. So we're gonna turn on the burner. Now we're gonna bring over a big pot. There's 1.5 gallons of water in here. You can see we're pretty close to the edge of the pot, so we're gonna be careful. But that's just because our stock pot is actually full of turkey stock that we're making over here. So if you wanna see that video later on, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So now that we've got the water boiling, we're just gonna add in 1 cup of kosher salt. Now we'll just take a whisk and make sure we dissolve that into the water. So it's really important that you now let this cool down to room temperature, because if you put hot brine over top of your turkey, you're gonna run the risk of it generating bacteria while you're brining your turkey. So we've let our brine cool down, and now we've just got a large brine bucket that we're gonna pour this in, get the turkey in there, and then get some aromatics as well. Next, we're gonna add in a little bit of rosemary. This we're just gonna scrunch up like that, get it in. We're gonna do the same with a little bit of thyme. Again, just scrunch it up so that it releases a little bit of the aromatics. We'll get 1 orange. We will cut some slices, perfect, just like that. Get some of this citrus in there. And then we're gonna take a microplane and just get some zest. Now we're doing this for the holidays, so we wanna bring out some of those holiday flavors. Make sure you just get the zest here. You don't wanna be going too much into the actual white part of the orange peel because that's bitter. Then we'll take some garlic and cut that in half. So we'll get that in here. Got a second one as well. Now we're gonna add in a little bit of apple cider. And then a few peppercorns, just a small handful of peppercorns. Perfect. Now let's get the turkey. Now we've got our turkey breasts here, and we're just gonna pat these guys down dry. You'll see we had our butcher take these breasts off of the turkey and debone it. So all we have are the breasts themselves. Now you normally can get some large turkey breasts from Costco. We went to get an organic turkey, about 14-pound bird just from our local butcher. But of course, if you can get them at Costco for cheaper, you can head in that direction as well. Now we're just gonna pull off the skin here. All we're looking to do is actually smoke the turkey breast itself. So just get this pulled off and removed. Now, you shouldn't have to do much trimming. If you've got a few fat pieces like this, you can trim those off. But these breasts are looking great. Perfect. So now we're just gonna get these guys into the brine here. Get them submerged. So the beauty about this brine bucket is it has this little divider that you can place down into the bucket, and that will keep your turkey submerged, and you don't have to worry about it floating to the top and parts of your turkey actually getting outside of your brine. Now for the brine, you need to do this for at least 6 hours. Now we're gonna put this in the fridge, but if you're putting it in a cool spot, just make sure that you're keeping it cooler than 40 degrees Fahrenheit so that bacteria won't build in your brine. So we've had the turkey brining overnight. It's the next day, so now it's time to pull it out of the bucket. We had forgotten to add some cranberries, so we did that late last night before going to bed. And we even added in some drumsticks. Perfect. Now we're just gonna get our seasonings off of here. We don't want any herbs remaining on our turkey. And now we're just gonna pat these down dry with a paper towel. So we've got this dried off, we've got most of the herbs off. You can see we still have some of that orange zest on the actual turkey breast itself. So that orange zest with the cranberries, it's just gonna make for a really nice holiday flavor profile to our brine here that'll be imparted onto the turkey. So now we're just gonna get the binder in place, and we're actually gonna do a bit of an experiment. For one of the binders, we're gonna use mayonnaise, and the other binder, we're just gonna use regular American mustard. Now I think the difference here, I've heard people talking about mayo as a binder, creating more of a moisture barrier. So as you cook, the turkey stays moister than if you're using, say, mustard as a binder. So we'll see if that ends up playing out. So this isn't gonna be enough where you can actually taste the mayo in the final product. Now we'll switch up our gloves and we'll get mustard on this second one. And again, just a really thin layer. You're not gonna taste this mustard at all, I promise you. This is just to help the rub stick. All right, so for our rub, we have a really simple Texas style rub here. It's SPG, so that's equal parts coarse ground black pepper, kosher salt, and garlic powder. So we're just gonna go ahead, sprinkle that on over the turkey breast. We're gonna be generous with it here because we've got some really thick turkey breasts, so it's gonna be hard to over season these guys. All right, now we'll hit the other one with mayo. And you wanna be sprinkling on your rub from high up just so that it evenly coats your protein. Now that we've got these seasoned up, we're ready to go fire up the grill. So we're gonna be doing these turkey breasts over charcoal on the Kamado here. So we've got a full charcoal basket. There we go. So keeping with the fruit-forward flavor of the brine, we've had the oranges, the cranberry. Now we're gonna add some cherry wood. So we'll get 3 large chunks there, just over top of the ignited charcoal. Then we'll get the lid down and get this up to temp. So now we're just gonna open the vents, and we're aiming for 225. So we're gonna go for a 1/4 open on the top, and we'll crack this bottom one maybe a 1/2 inch. Now we'll give this 15 minutes to come up to 225 to 250. Oh, you can already smell the cherry wood starting to let off that flavor profile. This is gonna make for an awesome cook. So we've got this up to temp, so pop this. Let's get our diffuser plates in. Get our grill grates down. Now it's time to put our turkey on. So first we'll go on with the mayo. That'll be on the right side of the grill. Then we'll go on with the mustard breast, and that's on the left. Now we're gonna take our meat probe, and we're gonna get that into the center of the thickest part of the turkey breast. So we're aiming for a final internal temp of 160 Fahrenheit on these guys, and that'll make sure we have an incredibly juicy turkey breast. So before we get the lid closed down, we're just gonna hit these with a little bit of extra pepper. Just wanna make sure any spots that looked a little bit bare we get covered up, because we really want a pepper forward flavor profile in this cook. Just a little bit of that bite and snap from the black pepper. Perfect. Now we'll close this down and we'll let this go for about 45 minutes before we check in and do our first basting. So we're about 40 minutes into the cook. We've just hit an internal temp of 100 on the turkey. Just look at these guys. Already some nice bark coming to these. And now we're just gonna baste with a little bit of melted butter. And here we're really just letting this drizzle onto the turkey. We don't want this to remove any of the rub that we've got on there. But this is gonna continue to just add to the moisture retention in the turkey. Make sure we don't dry out any parts of it. So just look around. If you see any parts that are drier than others, just give them a little bit of an extra dose. And now we'll baste every 1/2 an hour until we hit our internal of 160. We are at the 2 hour and 40 minute mark, and this smells incredible. We've just hit an internal temp of 160, so let's crack this lid and check in on the turkey. Unbelievable. Look at that. Just this beautiful crust that's formed all over these breasts. Now we're gonna take them inside, let them rest for 10 minutes, and then we'll carve in, show you what these slices look like. And now we're just gonna carve them up. But first, this one was the one that we had the mustard binder on. This one was the one we had the mayo binder on. So when you look at the mustard, all of that binder has really just dried up, versus when you look at the mayo, it still has that really nice glistening texture to it. It looks absolutely beautiful. And what we're doing on the front is just going off on a bit of an angle. Just look at how juicy this breast is. Now your thickness should really depend on if you're gonna be serving this straight up as a meal, whether you're gonna be making sandwiches out of this or not. We're going in for the thinner version. Oh, this smells absolutely incredible. Now we're gonna go in and carve the turkey that was covered in mayo. Oh, just look how juicy that is. Absolutely incredible. So now, all we've got left is the taste test. So we're gonna take a middle slice here, cut these in half. Now visually between the two, It looks like the mayo turkey breast is a little bit juicier. These were identical breasts. They were both off of the exact same bird. So there's no difference in thickness or the way in which we prepared them. So it's really just coming down to that mayo binder versus mustard binder. Now let's give it a taste test and see if we can tell the difference. Wow, that is good. That is really, really good. Now for the mayo turkey. Wow, that is really, really good. That is a noticeable difference. You cannot taste any mayo, but just the juiciness of the bird here, absolutely incredible. So if you're gonna choose between two binders, I definitely recommend the mayo. Now, one other thing here, you can really taste the flavor profile from the brine in these. That's absolutely incredible, especially the orange zest. The flavor profile of the rub, really pepper forward. So depending on how hot your family likes it, you might want to dial that back or maybe even lean into it. But this was nice and spicy, a real good pepper bite to it. So we've got to share this with the family. So thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment below. And if you thought we earned it, consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.